Hi everybody! In this video we're going to relearn how to rest. So rest, often we think of something that needs to be earned. You have to go hard in order to earn rest, and then when we move into rest, we rest hard and it's like a collapse or um, maybe even connected to unhealthy coping mechanisms. But rest is something that can be learned and practiced, just like you can learn to do a headstand or the splits better. You can learn to rest better. And for a lot of that is connected in my case to learning how to really release the head and the neck. I see it a lot in classes in forward folds. You tell people to release the head and it's still somewhat holding. In Savasana, in triangle pose, the head is so important in our culture and holds the brain and all of our senses. And to really let this thing go is no small feat. And so today we're going to use a blanket in quite a specific way. This one, I'm traveling right now, so I don't have my usual yoga mat. Blankets, but this will do. This is folded up in a way. You'll see in a second what kind of setup you need. This should be okay. And if you also have low back stuff, you can use a rolled up blanket or a pillow underneath your knees as we lie down. We'll take just a moment to wiggle. No big yoga movement. We'll just wiggle and then we'll go through a body scan of the whole body, but then we'll linger a lot in the head, neck, and face area. All right. So I'm going to lie down with my knees bent first. Already have my head on my blanket, but I haven't set it up yet in a particular way. I'm already putting my hoodie into a place where it's not in the way. And you can bend your knees. I'm gonna pull my sleeves up because the floor is a bit cold. If you have a nicer, softer yoga mat, I can also do this on a carpet. Just arriving here for a moment. And I've already started to sort of wiggle my head. And I'm trying to find a position where I feel a sense of elongation through the back of the head. Wiggling, tilting a bit to see where my head wants to land. I think this head thing is a big thing for me also because I don't think my head is even. I have an uneven head. And so when I lie down on a hard yoga mat, my head actually can't be still. Otherwise, it's going to roll off to one side or the other. And I think some of you, can resonate with that. It might also be due to excess tension. So just letting my head move for a moment. Just gently looking at the ceiling. And letting any sort of excess energy release. No big movements. I'm just wiggling a bit. And then let's just move down the body. So I'm starting to move my shoulders a bit. To come into Savasana, you can even really press the back of the head down, press the hips down so that the shoulders get light. And that will allow you to move your shoulders up, back, and down. So you can get a sense of an open heart. And then I'm sort of recreating some space in the lower back because that shortened my lower back. And maybe there are other ways in which you want to wiggle your shoulders, letting the heart settle on the floor. And then maybe you want to close and open your fists, releasing through the hands so that they can find their peace. All right. I feel ready to sort of move towards my pelvis. Now, same thing what you did with your heart. You can press into the floor to lift the hips up. Move the pubic bone a little bit in towards the belly button so your lower back lengthens. And then maybe you can feel a sense of release. There's a yawn. move through your toes. There's some pent up energy there. And then without losing that space in your lower back, I'm sort of wiggling, like inchworming my toes because my yoga mat isn't that slippery. And then eventually I extend my legs. So that my body can rest here. And then I feel I want to move my shoulders down even more after the space I've created in the lower back. The Savasana is really a posture. The feet are at least as wide as the hips, maybe mat width. Arms a little bit away, palms facing up so the shoulders, back of the shoulders can widen. Good. And then I'm actually going to roll up a blanket in a certain way. Might have to reset my heart and whatnot after that. So I'm going to, if someone else can do this for you, great, but you can do it yourself as well. So you're not, the shoulders are not on the blanket. You're off of the blanket. It's the back of the head. But the blanket is far down enough your neck so that when you curl up the edges, you can start to make a little nest. It starts to elongate the head. It's not pulling you, but elongates it. And if you continue rolling around all the way to the top, you create a tiny bit of an elevation towards the top of the head. Chin moves in so that the back of the neck, that's the area for most of us with tech neck, is sort of popping forward, can start to nestle in towards the ground. And now I can reset my shoulders. My pelvis feels good. And then you can check in a little bit. If you wiggle again, there's probably a little less leeway now. There's not much really of a possibility for me to look left and right. Of course, I force it. If I let the head go, I can wiggle a little bit. It stays in that position. And then maybe you can even close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. From top to bottom. So you can start to settle into your Savasana. You're going to allow the belly to soften. Feeling your back body spreading onto the mat. And let's just start with the toes. All 10 of them nice and happy. Soles of the feet, tops of the feet, your ankles. Nothing to do, just feeling them. Up to your calves and shins. Into your knees, the front and back. Into your thighs, front and back. So that both legs can settle here on your mat or on the floor. But from there, the pelvis gets a little bit heavier. Being the big bone of your pelvis left and right. All the organs settling in. Your spine into the backs of the shoulders. Right chest, left chest. Also into your arms. Upper arms, elbows, lower arms. All 10 fingers. Palm of the head, back of the head. The arms can settle, release their weight into the floor. We'll go much more into detail in the head and neck, but for now, we're just moving up your awareness from the shoulders into the neck, your jaw, all the five senses, skin, taste, smell, sight, hearing, softening into your skull, into your brain. And the weight of your head drops into the blanket. So that your body here has nothing to do. You're just here to listen, sense, no judgment. And then let's get into our jaw a little bit more. A lot of us, the lips will be a little bit parted if the jaw is relaxed. Sometimes we hear some voices in our head that says, close your mouth. Don't keep your mouth open. But if you're relaxed, your mouth is going to be slightly open, and that's fine. From that softness of the jaw, maybe your tongue starts to drop back a little bit. Maybe your teeth feel a little bit freer. And from there, the tongue connects to the back of the throat. From the back of the throat to your neck. At the top of the chest feels a little bit more free. Seeing if your muscles around the neck feel tight, wide, loose, asymmetrical. Maybe feeling that invitation of softness of the neck, throat, to release the shoulders a little bit more into the ground. The shoulder blades feel like they're nestling onto the ground a little bit more. The hands and arms and the extension of that can become a little bit softer. And let's go into the eyes a little bit. Right eye, left eye. Softening onto the back of the head. Eyebrows, right and left. Right and left ear. Right and left temple. Forehead. And from the forehead into the crown of the head. Back of the head. Into the back of the skull. And it's called the occiput, so that's the base of the skull where it starts to connect to the back of your neck. I'm really feeling the whole back of the skull being supported by the blanket underneath. Through the blanket into the floor. And just checking in with the fact that you can't really turn your head side to side, even if you tried a little bit. If you let go of your head, it's being held. Also can't really tilt your head, like moving one ear to a shoulder. What's a little bit possible is chin in towards the chest, so like a nodding is slightly possible. And even knowing that the blanket is holding the skull, there might still be a feeling of, oh, I have to hold my head, I have to hold my neck. So now diving into the microcosm of these complex, tiny muscles in your neck. Or maybe slightly reluctant to letting the blanket carry your head. Might find a tiny urge to hold the head. You can talk to your head, it's okay, you can let go. And then once you let go of that urge, somewhere else you might find an urge pop up. Some other muscle that says, no, I can't let go. And our goal today is not to fully let the head go. It might never happen, who knows? Just to establish a connection and a dialogue. But it's maybe possible to release the head a little bit more. So next time you think, pathway to the throat and the heart a little bit more open. Next time you want to speak, your throat is a little bit more free. Next time your gut feels something, there's a clear connection between the gut and the throat. Well, thanks to the lessening of tension around the neck. I'm going to stay quiet for just a little bit. Also maybe feeling the center of your head if you connected one ear to the other. Right smack in the middle of your head. Maybe that place your brain can let go a little bit more. And I'll bring you back out in a few minutes. And for today, we're going to slowly conclude our practice. You can do this as often as you want. Maybe the breath starts to deepen a little bit. Maybe your senses start to come back to the surface. Maybe tiny wiggles, toes, fingers. If you like, you can bring your hands onto your belly, your heart, anywhere it feels nice and cozy. I like to open my eyes without turning the head. Just actually check back that I'm here in the room. I'm going to bend one knee at a time. Place my feet back onto the floor. Feel the floor underneath the soles of my feet before I roll over onto one side. Allowing the head to be nice and heavy for just another moment. And then I slowly come back up to sitting. All right. If you like sitting up, you can sit up on the blanket or anything. You can sit up on a chair. Check back in. How do you feel? It's such a hard question to answer. Just without having to fully answer it. Just how do I feel? And then bring my hands together in front of the heart. And I thank you all for sharing this little practice today, and I hope you get to rest well. Thank you.